Hey guys, you were probably thinking that, in the latest patch Blizzard would nerf prot warriors, but in actual fact they just gave us a stealth. So we're just gonna eat rogues up. But seriously guys, how's it going? Dave here. They did nerf Warbringer just a little bit. um, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And yes, that was just a, I was just lagging out with Shadow Meld there. So this video is just a couple of random quest videos, a couple of clips on my way to 80. With the Wrath of the Lich King expansion, Blizzard were like, hey, let's spend our billions of dollars on actually making some interesting quests. And they came up with quests like this, where I just threw these ink-covered dogs, wolves, food, and they would just poo and leave something for me to pick up. It was quite funny because I used to play a fair amount of free-to-play games, and they would all you would expect this kind of quest type from one of those cheap games, but not from the most popular MMO in the world. I guess it's like in the rule book for making MMOs. It's just you have to have at least one quest where you're just picking up poo. But there is a lot of quests like this one here where you kind of you get an epic quest chain because Blizzard love quest chains in Northrend. But got an epic quest chain resulting in you fighting a massive elite boss, and somehow either you get somebody else to kill him or you get a special item, but somehow you're able to take him down. I'm not a big fan of these long quest chains because I've never found them particularly interesting. Um, which is a pretty big drawback, I guess, if you don't find it particularly interesting. Which was part of the reason why I didn't really like, excuse me, Northrend questing, mainly because of the spam of chain quests. So here I got to meet the Lich King, and he spared my life because I was so incredibly amazing in surviving that big old troll and killed him. This is a mounted quest, which there are plenty in Northrend. Blizzard loves the mounted quests. This one also bugged out, which was incredibly frustrating. It took me long enough to complete it the first time because at first I had no real idea what I was meant to be doing, so I was just running around, and then halfway through I checked my the quest details to actually see what I was meant to be doing. But I did manage to kill the dragon, um, but I think I was outside the area which it had to be killed, and didn't get the quest done. So I had to redo it, which was pretty frustrating because it took a while, and it's not particularly fun at all. But managed to do that one. You'd think with all the money that Blizzard have, they would come up with something like really impressive. But this quest just made me laugh so much because I was given this stick with which I had to beat these baby gorillas, I think it was, just so I could encourage the mother gorilla to come out so I could kill her. And you hear activist groups going all over or human rights groups ranting about video games causing violence, but come on, someone needs to call their RSPCA because I doubt they know what's going on in these MMOs because hitting baby gorillas with sticks just to get the mother to come and kill the mother. It's pretty harsh. It's a tough life being a gorilla in an MMO. And funnily enough, throughout the whole time I was capturing clips, but this is, I think, the only actual level that I bothered to record. Yeah, just the only level I bothered to record. I think I was like 76 or something. I think the 75 to 76 was the toughest, the biggest grind. But the 3 levels after that was pretty straightforward, and then 79 to 80 is just you can barely do it. I was so over questing by that point. But yeah, this is an example of the quest I did earlier that I was talking about. You had a big old quest chain and you end up having to fight a big old elite. And in this case, I just chucked a hammer at him a lot of times and, just had to stay alive. It's interesting because it's just a massive, huge boss. But it's not too hard to kill. Even the regular mobs that have the same kind of model, except just a tiny bit smaller. You'd think they'd be tougher to kill, but you're killing massive mobs for quests, and then the next moment you get a quest asking you to do something ridiculously boring, like fetching cannonballs or something like that. So this is the dinging level. We're doing I queued random, I think it was, and got the culling of Stratholme, which was pretty fun, even though I had no idea originally what I was doing. I was just wandering around and wondering where the mobs were. But it was it's a fun instance, except a bit frantic. Luckily, a couple of the guys knew what they were doing. Most of the time I was just running around following everyone and seeing how we went. It's funny because I am planning to change servers again. This time I'm definitely not planning to re-roll another Prot Warrior. This time I'm planning to transfer servers from Thorazan, which is the server I'm on, which, as I said before, isn't a whole lot of fun because not only, well, its main reason really is Alliance is outnumbered like 4-1. The other day I was in Dalaran and I actually spent 5 to 10 minutes just searching for a single alliance, and this is no exaggeration. It took me 5 minutes to find a single alliance member in Dalaran during peak time. So that's part of the reason, because it's impossible to quest without getting ganked pretty much, and for other reasons as well. So I'm planning on going to Shattered Hand, I think it is, which is a US server. So if any of you are on that server and Alliance, then you can leave it in the comments, and maybe I'll join your guild because I am looking for a guild to start spamming things with. It gets a bit boring just spamming heroics by yourself. Yes. The thing I'm having to adjust to at level 80 is the gear kind of focus. All of a sudden, from I probably did instances regularly from about 50 to right up to 80, and it never really was a problem what gear you had. It didn't take very long to get good gear, and then it was just pretty easy. Everyone had fairly good gear ever since the looking for random dungeon thing was introduced. Everyone had much better gear, and the instances were a lot easier. It wasn't a massive issue, but ever since getting to 80 and starting to tank, a lot of people, care about gear and all these things. I recently installed Gear Score, which has become a bit of a nightmare. I wish I hadn't really installed it because, and I'll probably get rid of it soon because it becomes too much of a problem, I feel, and it reduces a lot of the fun. The same with Recount. I introduced that, I recently installed that, and straight away I began to hate it because I began spending a lot of time looking at looking at all the different things you can look at on Recount rather than actually focusing on tanking. So definitely, well, not definitely, but probably gonna uninstall that because there's always someone who's got Recount who want to post up how awesome they are, and I'll be able to see then. Might as well give a shout out to my blog. I've been abandoning it recently, but I just did a recent post about some experiences I had as a level 80 tank. So if you're interested in a bit more depth and a bit more QQing, then you can go check that out on my blog. I'll put a link in the sidebar. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. subscribe, and I'll see you later.